Hey, what's up? What's going on? Urban Red Pill. Today I want to read an article, and this is to show from a previous video that I made that fathers have no rights when it comes to their children. So, when you have everyone's talking about, oh, this is my lineage, this is my legacy, what type of legacy do you really create if you do not have the influence of that said legacy? Here's the article. This is from Breitbart News. Judge finds father guilty of family violence for not using transgender teens' preferred pronouns. Quote, the British Columbian Supreme Court judge has found the father of a 14-year-old girl claiming to be transgender guilty of family violence because he continues to refer to his daughter as a she. An order of protection issued by the Justice Francesca Marzari states the father, known as Clark, is subject to arrest if he attempts to persuade his daughter, known as Maxine, to abandon treatment for gender dysphoria, to call her by her birth name, or to refer to her as a girl or with female pronouns, either directly or to third parties. The court order states the father's arrest may occur immediately and without warrant by a police officer who has reasonably and probably who has reasonable and probable grounds to enforce the order. Jeremiah Keenan reports at the Federalist Marzari's ruling that the father had engaged in expressions of rejection of his daughter's gender identity. The girl's father would not refer to his daughter as a he, and he continues to affirm publicly that his daughter is a biological female. What Mazzari found particularly egregious, however, was not Clark's private interaction with his daughter, but his continued willingness to provide interviews to the media in which he identifies Maxine as female, uses a female name for Maxine, and expresses his opposition to the therapist Maxine has chosen. According to the courts, this willingness placed on Maxine at a significant risk of harm. In February, the BC Supreme Court ordered that Maxine undergo hormone treatments against the consent of her father. As a result, the teen has since begun regular testosterone injections at the BC Children's Hospital. The teen's school counselor reportedly urged her to identify as a boy while in the seventh grade. When she was 13, Dr. Brandon Hirsch of BC Children's Hospital encouraged her to begin the injections to enable her to gain a more masculine appearance. These injections will completely disrupt her puberty, the father told the Federalist. Her bones will stop growing. Her brain will stop developing. Uh-oh, men have bigger brains, right? And she's not going to be a boy. She won't even have the bone strength left to be a girl anymore. Justice Bowden, however, said Maxine was exclusively entitled to consent to a medical treatment for a gender dysphoria, regardless of the opposition of her parents expressed. The government has taken over my parental rights, the father said. They're using Maxine like she's a guinea pig in an experiment. Is BC Children's Hospital going to be there in 5 years when she rejects her male identity? No, they're not. They don't care. They don't want numbers. Additionally, the judge said he gave testimony of pediatric endocrinologist Dr. Quentin Van Meter and psychiatrist Dr. Miriam Grossman, both who apparently warned of the dangers of transgender hormone treatment. Little weight because of risks of Maxine attempting suicide. Fellas, that's just pretty much the gist of the article. It goes longer. I will have the article attached in the description box. As you can see, goes back to my prior video. Those kids are not yours. They belong to the mother and the state. This right here is a father pleading to not have a teenager consent a sex change, a hormonal sex change, to turn them into one gender to another. Now, last I checked, I believe the drinking age is 18 or 21. You can't even drink. You can't smoke. You can't vote. A lot of times, if there's, you can't go speak for yourself at a parent-teachers conference. But guess what you can do? You can whine and agree to be a gender that you're not and actually go through with the hormonal treatment with the state as the bully, the Goliath that's telling you that you pretty much don't have any rights. Now, think of something. Think of this father. He's telling, this is his child, quote, he's telling them he does not condone his daughter going through the sex change, and he's not going to refer to her as a he. He's going to refer to her as the gender she was born. They are telling him that he could be arrested with no bond. No bond now. Now you have petty criminals that could get arrested and they would still have a bond of maybe $2,000 to $5,000. They're telling the father of his own daughter that if he goes against this teenager's wishes, that they will not only arrest him, but he will not have any bond. In other words, he will have to stay incarcerated until he sees a judge. Please explain to me, how does your desire to be a father in this gonocracy, where does this make sense? Your role as a father is not just to donate sperm. Your role as a father is to be a provisioner, to also socialize and guide your kid in the right direction. Because of course, men are the ones with the moral compass, not the women. As you can see, look what they're creating. So what I'm saying is, why would any man these days in this environment chose to go down the same most slippery road of having kids when society is telling you that those kids do not belong to you? The state has replaced the father. They've done this since the 1950s. And now, as you can see, it's constantly conjuring itself up to even worse things. It's more radicalized now, to the point where your kid can actually, at the age of, I believe they said 9 is when it first started. The girl is 13 now. So imagine 9 years old. Your kid can say, if you have a son, he can say, listen, I don't want to be a boy anymore. I want to have a sex change to a girl at 9 years old. Now I want you to ask yourself, where was your imagination at 9 years old? I thought I was Michelangelo of the Ninja Turtles. Think, where was your mindset at 9 years old? I used to make imaginary spider webs like if I was Spider-Man. But of course, I wasn't dumb enough to know I'm not going to swing off a building or I'd die. But that's just how imaginary your mind is at that age. Now, imagine the state saying that it is fine for a child at the age of 13 to consent without the parents' consent. Or better yet, the father. He's the only one stepping up for this. So I will assume the mother is going along with the child. And they're telling you, you don't, if you try to impose your will as a father, or you try to demand that you don't want this thing done to your child, that they will have you arrested with no bond. Is that not gonocracy? Having kids in 2019 is a fool's errand. You do not have any rights. It makes it what is the point? I understand the desire, because of course I would love to have a son to raise up, show him the right way, and the things that I've learned in my life, I would like to pass that on to him, pass on the knowledge and the wisdom and the integrity that I have and give it to him. But guess what? I understand that it's no way that this can happen in the United States in 2019, because the moment that I try to impose my will on the upbringing, you're going to have these kangaroo courts coming in telling me that I don't have any rights or I can't do this. There's a 1-800 hotline for the kid to call if they disagree with any of your parenting as a man. Now, women could abuse kids all they want to. No one does anything. I just wanted to share that article with the fellas to let you know that it is a dead end, man. If your purpose in the United States is just making Xerox copies of yourself, I would suggest you reevaluate that purpose and look for other purposes in life to pursue, or consider going the surrogacy route, if you have the the funds available, and just identify as gay or something. But at the end of the day, being a father in 2019 in the United States is a fool errand. You guys take care. Masculinity first. Get with you later.